Well, the Bharatiya Janata Party is considered a very internet-friendly party, one that really saw the strength of the internet and harnessed all of that power on social media to win the 2014 election. It was the Modi wave that was really propagated online. But two comments by two senior leaders, in fact members of parliament of the BJP in the recent past, are being interpreted as direct insults to supporters of the BJP online. Anurag Thakur and Chandan Mitra, in their own words and in their own ways, have basically said that social media's views are extreme, they're not important, and the views of people on social media are the views of people who really don't have anything better to do. As you can imagine, it's created an absolute hurricane.
It isn't just the opposition bringing down the House. The BJP is firefighting a volcano of fury on social media as well. The party's online supporters are seething with anger this week, attacking the BJP's own Rajya Sabha MP Chandan Mitra. Their wrath was triggered by a comment made by Mitra on a television debate, when he said that the government's policies could not be framed on the basis of Twitterati, which is hyperbolic at times. He went on to say that it's a useful sounding board as to how some people with nothing better to do express their opinions on various subjects. That was enough to set off Chandan Mitra trending on Twitter. Leading online BJP supporters lashed out at Mitra, seeking an apology, some even demanding his sacking and threatening to stop tweeting in support of the BJP. Last week, it was another BJP MP, Anurag Thakur, who had offended the Twitterati. He rued about pressure from social media and deciding on Indo-Pak cricket, and the hashtag Shame on Anurag Thakur trended on Twitter. Social media had played an important role in BJP's sweeping victory in the general elections. With increasing instances of trolls getting abusive, the question is, has BJP's Twitter army now become a bane rather than a boon? Bureau Report, India Today.
It's useful to remind ourselves every now and then what the importance of social media is. It's not something restricted to the online world. It has real influence in the real world as well. Take a look at what social media has really meant for the BJP, a party considered to be very social media friendly, one that has recognized the true power of social media. Remember, it was key to amplifying and propagating the Modi wave in 2014. If there was no social media, things couldn't have gone as viral as they did. The digital army is online. Groups of supporters in their thousands were essential to the Prime Minister's global online popularity then and even now. Trends, pictures, photographs, videos, they go viral because of those thousands of supporters. Online support used to create a pro-government narrative. These aren't disorganized groups of people. There's a very organized effort as far as social media is concerned by the BJP online to help put out the party and the government's message. Online support is really the front line in correcting misinformation. This was one of the things that came to the forefront, especially in the run-up to 2014, when there were a lot of attacks on then Chief Minister Narendra Modi when he became Prime Minister. They're still at it. Moving on to some of its other functions, social media voices engage and actually fight propaganda. You see a lot of fights every single day between the BJP and the Congress, between the government and the opposition supporters, because on Twitter you've got people who are sniffing misinformation, sniffing propaganda and trying to counter it then and there. And finally, it's emerging as a massive influence of offline political rhetoric. You've seen it as far as Anurag Thakur trending recently, as far as the cricket series was concerned. Chandan Mitra, Member of Parliament, has run into a controversy now. That's what this debate is about. When he said that people on Twitter have nothing much better to do, that was on another channel when he was debating foreign policy and what social media thinks about India actually engaging with Pakistan. So let's not discount the power of social media. Joining me this evening on the newsroom, very privileged to have Arvind Gupta, a man credited with really building up the BJP's formidable digital presence. He's the national head of the BJP's Information Technology Cell. Good evening, Arvind. Thanks for joining us this evening. Also with us live from Kolkata tonight is Nupur Jhunjhunwala. She is a very vocal online BJP supporter. She's very active on Twitter. She's extremely free with her views, has very, very strong views as far as the BJP is concerned. And tonight, Nupur counts herself as one of many thousands of Twitterati, BJP supporters on Twitter, who feel they are aggrieved. They feel that they've been let down. They feel they are owed an apology for two senior leaders. But I want to, Nupur, if you will allow me, I want to put my first question to Arvind, because the onus is really on the BJP here. Arvind, I understand from your tweets that, you just back from a trip abroad when you were sort of assaulted by all these messages about Dr. Chandan Mitra, and you've also said that you don't subscribe to his views. But Arvind, these are two members of parliament, prominent leaders. These are not fringe leaders. These are people who've spoken for your party now or in the past. These are strong views.
Well, I think the fact that senior leaders like Mr. Chandan Mitra or Anurag Thakur have spoken about it, I have already said it, that we don't subscribe to their views. As simple as that. I think they may have not engaged to the extent with the creative energy of social media, the way the Prime Minister, the party president and many other leaders who are both within the party and as well as in the government today have engaged with the social media and its volunteers and has seen the benefit of that. So, and I've as you rightly said, the BJP, the Narendra Modi campaign, it's hugely benefited from social media and the volunteers and the energy and the creative sparks and that lies there within. So I don't see a reason why Chandan Da or anybody would say that people are tweeting in their spare times or who have nothing better to do are tweeting that. I think they have misread social media, and I don't subscribe to what they are saying.
Okay, but Arvind, one quick follow-up before I get to Nupur.
Does not, because the level of engagement. Let me just complete that, Shiv. The party has actively engaged with social media, its volunteers in various meetings, whether it's Yuva TV platform, whether it's been in Assam, Bengal, Delhi, across the country. And I think,
no, that is in fact, Arvind, that is in fact the reason why it's actually a story for us here on India Today. That's one of the reasons why it's a story. Like I said twice before we came to you live, the reason it's a story is because the BJP has had such a strong social media connect. It's been seen to, recognize the importance of social media. That's why I think there is so much of a surprise. But Nupur, before I come to you, one quick follow-up question. Given that there are many people out there, I don't want to use the word trolls because, that's a word that has been abused. It has lost much of its meaning. There are many reasonable BJP supporters out there who feel aggrieved. Nupur happens to be, one of them, who feel like they owed an apology. Does that worry you, Arvind, or do you feel that, the fact that you've said that these views don't represent the party is really enough to, convince everybody that things are okay? Are you worried?
So let me answer that in three parts. Number one, the fact that the volunteers and social media, which is the extended arm of the party in many sense, feel so offended by it. I also feel offended, by the way. I identify with that sentiment, and if I have contributed, whether it's 1 hour a day or 10 hours
very
a
interesting
day, I would feel offended if somebody says that these the statement that was made. But the positive side on that is that I think these are our own people. We identify with them. They're part of the bigger ecosystem of the party. They are stakeholder. They're part of the family. And if something happens within the family, like any other family, they have a right to be offended.
Yes.
So it shows the strong bonding between the party and the social media volunteers that exist out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 99% of them, we don't know who they are.
Yes. In fact, that bonding is one of the things we've actually seen, because many of the messages haven't been violent messages. They've been messages saying, I am upset and I want to boycott this party because I feel like I'm owed an apology. One of those tweets, in fact, came from Nupur herself. Nupur, you were genuinely upset when you saw what happened, weren't you?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, of course I was upset, and I appreciate and agree with everything that Mr. Gupta has said.
Yes.
I would just like to add a couple of points. The question which Dr. Mitra responded to by the esteemed journal was asking if SM abuse to Mr. Thakur resulted in the government's flip-flop with regards to the India-Pakistan cricket series. Now, I think most of us were upset because the factual error in the question itself wasn't addressed by Dr. Mitra. The factual error being that at that point of time, the news which was let out was was based on a source-based information. So there has been no flip-flop by the government. As of now, there has been no go-ahead. So this lie was not really countered by Dr. Mitra.
But Nupur, apart from the lie not being countered, I have a more specific question for you. Arvind has clarified, saying that the BJP does not subscribe to the views of either Anurag Thakur or Dr. Chandan Mitra as far as social media's importance is concerned. Does that satisfy you completely, or do you think that there's a problem here, because those two are pretty senior leaders, and you sounded pretty upset online?
Right, let me just complete.
Yeah.
I still am upset. Let me just complete and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
My second point was that the question said that there was abuse that was hurled at Dr. Thakur. Now, just like some journalists allegedly were hobnobbing with Meera Radia, and that does not mean that I would label all journalists as sold out agents. So certain bad eggs doesn't mean that you can label the entire SM support base or the entire support base as abusive. So I think we had a problem that wasn't countered as well. And I am the director of my own company, so I'm clearly not jobless. I'm doing this and I'm expressing my opinions because I am a citizen and a voter.
Yeah.
As far as being satisfied is concerned, for now, yes, because not only Mr. Gupta, but leaders like Mrs. Irani, Mr. Mahesh Giri, Mr. Giriraj Singh, and many others have come in support and appreciated our work.
Yes, they have.
But I would also say that there is a certain disconnect. There is a certain disconnect between between voters who are active on social media and the party, which was so beautifully managed pre-2014 Lok Sabha.
Okay.
So there's a lot to be done, and I'm trusting Mr. Gupta to take that forward.
So Arvind,
as of now, we can't really do anything but accept.
Yeah. Arvind, as the party that has always, kept in touch and, with the pulse of what's on social media, that's a pretty important, comment and a piece of feedback coming in from someone like Nupur, that maybe there's a disconnect. So are you willing to accept that this requires a looking at more closely, because it could be representative of something wrong?
Well, I think, to complete what I was trying to say is that the engagement with social media, which was there prior to 2014, was a different nature. Now it's more a different governance agenda. Of course, listening activity has to go on, a lot more engagement has to happen. But I must add, the expectation level from social media and the party has gone up multifold. The support base has gone up, at least 4 to 5 times over the last 1 year, and it's across multiple mediums. And as diverse a medium as social media, and it is supposed to be diverse, and that's the good part about social media. And that's the reason I don't think so any leader, any political leader, any leader in the government can write off what is being written in social media. That is, I mean, I said this 4 years ago, and I'm saying this today. I mean, 4 years ago I said it with so much of conviction. Today, though, it's a no-brainer.
Fully agree with you. I think social media simply will be ignored at anybody who ignores its peril. I mean, there's simply has to be unanimity as far as that is concerned.
The point I'm trying to make is that there is a huge amount of data and opinions that are coming out, which are very diverse at many times, and very sophisticated listening techniques are required to assimilate that information, make sense out of it. Social media is also very democratic. people who thought this is paid tweeting and trolling and all is really not happening. And because of its democratic nature and diversity that of opinion, one has to really understand,
And since it has such a democratic nature, and we're almost out of time this evening on this particular discussion, I want to end with Nupur. Because she's out there, nobody really gets to see her very much, so I'm going to end with Nupur. Nupur, since this has been such a constructive discussion,
mention one thing, and I will I will give it to Nupur to end it, but I want to just add two more points.
Yes.
That the Prime Minister, many ministers in the government, like the Railways Ministry, the External Affairs Minister, have been engaging with social media with citizens. So
absolutely,
that has been very, very active. The MyGov platform is something I do want to mention. It has been a super successful platform with the contributions and the creative energy of social media volunteers. So,
exactly,
I
but the
totally
message
subscribe to what Nupur is saying, that people who are very, very creative
to percolate down
find
to
social media
leaders
ways to contribute.
Yeah, Nupur, last word. How can the government change things for the better now?
Yeah, but the message needs to reach leaders like Dr. Mitra, who are belittling the support base, and they need to learn and take a cue from the man himself, Mr. Modi. B, they need to stop falling for questions that are laden with lies and propaganda of the media. They need to brush it aside or counter it vociferously. And other than that, I think we might be angry, but we still stick together. So that's the beauty of BJP being a democratic party and not a bunch of jesters in a monarch's darbar.
Right.
So I think we'll still stick together.
Okay, so you're going to stick together.
Thank you very much, Nupur.
That's a nice note to end this particular discussion on. And Arvind, I want to tell you, all of those things you just mentioned, the great connect, the great connect that the BJP has with social media, that's the reason why there's this surprise as far as this is concerned. 10 seconds, Arvind, 10 seconds to you. Completely out of time.
Very quick one. We are a family. We intend to stay one, and if there are a little bit of nicks and corners, we will iron those out.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nupur and Arvind. Pleasure to have the both of you tonight on the newsroom. We did put up a poll earlier today asking whether the social media, the online armies of the BJP were a bane or a boon, given what's happened in the last couple of days. Here's what it is: 80% say it's a boon, only 20% say it's a bane. So that's a landslide victory for those who say that BJP's Twitter army is a positive force as far as the party is concerned. All right.